All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had a wonderful weekend. We actually got a wild week ahead of us with earnings and data, even the non-farm payrolls and a bunch of Fed speakers. But over the weekend again, we are dealing with drama. This time, it is the trade war, and Donald Trump has enacted the tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China. They have already announced their retaliations. We are waiting for the futures to open. I might go live on youtube.com/the stock market, depending on how big it was, because last weekend when we had one of these future dramas, I gave out the watch list, and then I was on Twitter by the end of the night, and the futures were down 5%. So we're going to see what happens. It will be interesting, but if you did not see what happened on Thursday and Friday, this was kind of the first steps to all of it. Remember, on Thursday, we had our first tariff candle. We were able to hit that. We got those rumors, and it's funny because on the watch list, I was like, hey, watch out for a fake rumor coming up. And well, on Friday, that's exactly what happened. Reuters and then Bloomberg and CNBC, they ran with it. I posted a clip on the Twitter. It's even on the youtube.com/the stock market. You can watch the whole hour live. Again, I'm processing this in real time, and I even went both ways. But I was saying, right, like literally within 60 seconds, this sounds fake because it was saying the opposite of what we just got this weekend. There was a rumor going around, and they were saying that Trump's going to delay till March, even though he was saying he is going to do it on February 1st. And even that morning, this is pretty much what's going on. Pete Navarro said this on Friday morning before any of the rumors. He said there is low-level White House officials going around, and they're kind of talking to people and framing it as if they are senior officials, and that's pretty much what happened here. So you got to be on the lookout for it. That's why we're going to be live in all of it. But the fact of the matter is, even by the end of Friday, Trump made a bunch of comments. He talked about oil and energy, chips in all these countries. He now signed them into play. We were talking about getting ready to watch the dollar, and now we'll see what happens with the futures. But it looks like the beginning of this week is going to be really about the start of the trade war. Now, Donald Trump has enacted his first round of tariffs. Canada, China, and Mexico are all talking about what they're going to do in tranches. So we will see where it takes us. So I have that to recap the plays, all that good stuff. What I need from you, a thumbs up on the video. Make sure you're subscribed. And if you don't know, we are live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open, youtube.com/the stock market. We will see you there in the morning, baby. Run it.
Working to the couch, it's the 2020 election. Live in the hills, but I still get a spread. Started with a live, but I still reinvest it. Feel how I feel, then you feel it's a blessing. I just want the lesson, I just want protection. I'm up and I'm down, but they sound like progression. Farming never plans if he waits for perfection. Finger to the down.
Right off the bat, I actually should go back to the other screen because the part about this week, if we weren't dealing with all of this trade war stuff, it's actually a pretty big week for earnings. Last week had a lot of the mega cap names, but this week still going to be getting Google and Amazon. But then there was a lot of other names that aren't mega cap, but they're pretty important in terms of how they could change sentiment and all of that. So you are going to be dealing with that this week, but now we're going to find out here in a couple of hours. We'll see how the dollar and everything moves, but you are going to be dealing with this tariff drama. Now, here's the weird part about all of it. Most of this is generally expected. Even on Friday, even the days leading into it, if you have been paying attention, you knew that this stuff was going to happen. That's why even right now with the market close, I know some people are worried. It may not be that bad by tomorrow, but the thing that is throwing people off right now is how quick they have came in and even how quick other countries are retaliating. It's like everybody is kind of impulsively reacting to all of this. So we knew this was going to happen. But again, the speed and swiftness by Donald Trump and even how these other countries are reacting, even though there was a lot of this move priced in, that's where we are going to be getting our volatility. So essentially, I think at some point the dollar is going to get stronger between even like right now all the way to tomorrow morning. You'll see the dollar go up, but depending on if it holds, gets really strong or not, I think that'll dictate kind of how people are feeling with this whole situation, and then we're going to play it headline by headline. So that's going to set up a lot of the theme. Other than that, though, here's the crazy part. It's a pretty big week. Like I'm saying, you have all of these earnings. Now you're going to be dealing with that, but there is going to be data in the first part. This one's going to be happening tomorrow, ISM manufacturing. So fact of the matter is, we're now getting into the Trump presidency. I don't know, even after that last weekend with rumors, we'll see if the data starts to become a little bit more accurate. But at the end of the day, with or without, accurate or not, this ISM manufacturing, I've told you about it a lot, and I think this is subtly going to be a big piece of data tomorrow. So some people will be picking up on it, but at the end of the day, if that comes in really hot or really cold, you could use this as a guide on what to be expecting by Friday. And now what is going to be happening on Friday? It's kind of the rest of the week. Like I'm telling you, you are going to have earnings, you are going to have data, and then on top of that, I think from even Monday till Friday, you're going to have a bunch of Fed speakers. So you're going to be hearing comments from that. Then we're going to close out the week with the non-farm payrolls. Again, ISM manufacturing, that could most of the time be a leading indicator. And then now we are going to be dealing with the trade war. So the final thing I'll leave you on with all of it, this is the real question you got to be asking. Is Trump going to war with the markets or the countries, really? And this is the thing, because everyone's like, oh, the countries, the retaliation, and that is going to be important. As we get more future details, I'm sure we're going to really see where that drives the dollar and all of that. But in Friday's comments, there was something pretty big that I think Trump said, and this could even change the vibe. There's even going to be a play that leads into this, but Trump said he does not care about the market. A lot of people think Trump wants it for bragging rights and all of that, but some of the stuff he's talking, I mean, there will probably be some short-term pain, or let me put it another way, if you valued the markets or your ideas, I mean, the markets would probably have to suffer. Again, I think he probably cares more about his ideas than markets to start off his second term. And just the sad reality is that when he says he doesn't care about the markets, I do think people are going to be putting that to the test at one point. So that's what we got to really be watching out for. That's why even now, till the future's open, we'll see where it leads us. But again, first 100 days, I'm sure we're going to get a lot more of this. I don't know if it'll be the breaking point this week, but this could be the next thing we should be watching for. Do we get some sort of tantrum, or what type of news or level finally triggers that? So we'll see where it leads us, but either way, I'm sure it's going to be another fun week. But now let us get into the plays. So right off the bat, this is the one we were talking about on Friday, and we even talked about it from the beginning of the year, but I hate and love this play, UUP. So this is the dollar. I love the idea of the dollar. I just don't like this instrument. UUP, I mean, it's just playing the dollar unless you're putting leverage behind it. Even playing the options on it is kind of wonky. I did end up making an option play on it, but you do got to be very careful with it, and there's so many other derivatives to play the dollar off of. Again, you could just buy anything or buy or short another currency, for crying out loud. So there's many ways to play a strong dollar, or you could literally play UUP itself. That does get a little bit tricky, but we were talking about this on Friday. We got a lot of the rumors once we found out that other rumor was fake, and then the market started to come down, and we knew what to expect for this weekend. I said it. It's either we're going to wake up on Monday, and the dollar is going to be really strong because everyone's freaked out, or by the time the market opens up, they're like, yeah, not as bad. Dollar goes up a little bit, then it finally chills out, and that will pretty much determine the freak out and opportunity. But people do start freaking out. We do get a lot more tit for tat on the tariffs, and you hear about that in the news, and it gets confirmed. I do think the dollar will probably rocket. So ended up making a play on that. I would watch out for it, but like I'm saying, get creative and find other ways to play the strong dollars. Well, somebody will find an inefficiency out there. I'm telling you, there's many ways to go about it. So maybe it's UUP. I doubt it, but in general, though, like we even said from the beginning of this year, the dollar is probably going to be the most important thing. The trade-weighted, nominal, even now with policy, tariffs, this is probably going to be the king. So don't forget about it and know how you can maneuver it. But that is play number one. Then play number two. This one, I mean, you could tie it into the industry. I went for a specific play, but CVX, Chevron, and Trump was talking a lot about oil. I mean, literally his whole entire plan, even tariffs, it's all revolving around oil, even how he's communicating with Canada and how they would work it or the size of the tariffs dependent on oil. And then even over the weekend on Friday, leading into it, he talked and freed people from Venezuela. And even though some people didn't like it when Biden did it, Trump is talking about getting oil from Venezuela. Again, this could open up one of those keys. So we'll see where he does. But I do think Chevron will be the company who got to benefit under Biden and Trump under Venezuela. Oh, look at that. But we'll see how it plays out. But I did make a play on this one. I am going to be watching Chevron. I did think it was kind of a reach, but there has been a lot of headlines. So we'll see. But again, any short-term plays are going to be a lot harder to hit. So watch out for that. That is play number 2. And then finally, play number 3, this one's a little weird, but I like it, man. For this week, Uber. Now, I don't know which is going to be more important, the earnings, the data, or the trade war headlines and the macro economy. But like I said, if we didn't have to deal with all this stuff, some of these earnings would be important. And Uber, they have a very, very big range so far. They got a lot of things from profitability and growing that or failing that all the way down to cyber. So this might be one of the good earnings plays. I don't have a play on it. I think I got some old ones, so I'm going to see how these ones play out, but definitely keeping an eye out for Uber. But those are the main plays. As far as everything else, oh man, don't get mad at me, man, but we got to rip the Band-Aid off. But nope, you got one more. So good, but I am going to rip a Band-Aid off today. But before I do that, I got a pretty picture. Some of you may have seen this. It's from Bank of America. Michael Hartnett, he's been talking about a lot of things, and they even brought up DeepSeek and now the strong dollar, but European banks. And this is going to be a very important idea that I hope you understand now. I don't know when it will materialize. You could even apply Japan into the situation. It's about looking overseas. So I'll keep it simple with European banks, but you can look at other emerging markets, and it's very simple here. As we move forward, if Trump wages a war with the market, right? If he starts doing this trade war stuff and we start seeing some bigger changes, believe it or not, there is an overseas benefit. Now, you could get really deep on this. You could try to figure it out, but I encourage you. I know this may sound weird. Don't overthink it. I've told you this kind of in the past, but quite simply, in a weird way, if we really start to tighten and do our own thing, some of these other places will loosen up. If we go back to a world with less central bank unity, you might actually end up getting a positive for European and foreign banks, let alone just even emerging markets, depending on what they do. There will obviously be winners and losers, but again, if we start getting weird shifts in the dollar, trade weighted and nominal, and then Trump really does get stuff that tightens us, even if he shifts to no income tax, tariffs, who knows, but whatever short-term process that kind of causes any sort of pain, I would either watch for them to recover quickly, or the first people getting, the light at the end of the tunnel, it'll probably be these European or Japanese banks. So something to keep an eye on. And just in general, if we really start to tighten, there will be some easing in other places, and that's already started to happen. I don't know if you guys remember this. I was showing you this towards the end of the year, but now take a look. I mean, November 24, that was when we started getting everybody cutting. It's different now. You have a couple people easing, other people are raising now, but we are kind of getting a dynamic shift. So that's going to feed into that situation. So we'll see where that all plays out. But like I'm saying, you will have a play opportunity there with the European bank. So we'll talk about it on stream. And now finally, here's the Band-Aid, man. I'm sad now, but I'm just sad if you get sad, but you shouldn't be sad because there's no excuses. But the plays I made, no mas, habibi. That's 2 different languages, but go look it up now, man. I know we got to rip the Band-Aid off. I just want you to be on stream. If you really care about it, you'll pay attention. You'll find it. You'll figure it out. I know it's terrible. You didn't even like the philo and other stuff, but we don't need to talk about it. We just got to move, keep getting information, keep getting the long run. And at the end of the day, I mean, why I say let's rip the Band-Aid off, because I've already made little baby changes and people got mad, unsubscribe, do all this. But I looked, man, and sadly, it broke my heart. But the days, this is my whole lifetime in YouTube, man. The days that people unsubscribe to my channel are the days that we have actually done the best. So it's not for other things. And again, even for the plays, I really want to encourage the long term above all else. And I think if you want it in the info, I think I could push you to be there, and I think it'll actually benefit you a lot more. So hate me if you like, love me if you want, but we got to do it quick, because then we still got to get ready for everything else. But that being said, go look at the recap from Friday. I think there was a lot of stuff you could learn. I was just showing you gameplay. And like I'm saying here, depending on what the futures do, be on youtube.com/the stock market. I may even go live here on this Sunday. But Chad, that is all I have for you, and I hope you're ready. But that is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure hydrate healthy, ready to go. Make sure post your watch list. Make sure we see you there in the morning. I need the armor on. I need the helmet shining. And I need you to remember, my friend, the temptation of virtue does not exist. Oh, yeah, you have to get that on your own will. Oh, yeah, it's never tempting. Oh, yeah, I hope they know. I got even better philos this week. Keep reading the books. I'll tweet me on them. That's what I'm talking about. Drink that water. Stay hydrated, healthy. I'll see you in the morning, maybe tonight. And I love you, Chad, and Horn.